Welcome to the 46th installment of Ear to the Ground, the Land Stewardship Project's audio magazine podcast. Ear to the Ground features interviews and field reports related to sustainable agriculture, family farming, local food systems, and local democracy. I'm Brian DeVore, editor of the Land Stewardship Letter. During the 2007 session of the Minnesota Legislature, Land Stewardship Project's members and staff worked to increase funding for sustainable and organic agriculture research at the University of Minnesota. The Higher Education Funding Bill eventually contained a $1,550,000 yearly increase in funding for agriculture in general at the University of Minnesota. However, as of early 2008, the exact amounts of money that will be directed towards sustainable and organic programs are still under discussion with University of Minnesota officials. The university has indicated support for a funding level of at least $400,000 of new money per year for an organics program and alternative livestock work at the U of M's Minnesota Institute for Sustainable Agriculture. As a way of guiding how this money is used, LSP has submitted a proposal to the University of Minnesota for an ongoing organics program at the institution. The precedent-setting proposal seeks to address two missing elements in the existing work of the university. The first is a lack of an overarching programmatic approach to organic research and education that is ongoing and coordinates work across the various disciplines and departments of the university. The second is a centralized coordination that allows for easy input from the public, including farmers, buyers, and students. This proposal seeks to build upon the existing good work the university has initiated on organic research and education. This proposal is put forth as an addition to the current organic outreach and research at the university. During a break at the 2008 Minnesota Organic Farming Conference, I had a chance to talk to three members of LSP's State Policy Committee, Jim Falk, Loretta Jouse, and Dave Menard. These three people, who are very much involved in various aspects of organic and sustainable agriculture, were among the committed group who helped draft LSP's proposal for an ongoing organic program at the University of Minnesota. We talked about how important coordinated, ongoing organic research at a land-grant university would be for them, as well as the organics industry in general. Well, Jim, maybe you could just give me a little background on your farm and what you're doing with your seed business and where you're from, and just a little bit of brief background there.
We own and operate Falk Seed Farm in Swift County, and have been involved in serving the organic community for many years. We actually have some organic production on our farm, and we are an approved seed conditioning facility, so we're pretty familiar with certain aspects of what's needed in the organic community as far as the availability of new and better varieties, and in that aspect, that seems to be my expertise. I'm kind of excited about the fact that we're putting an emphasis now on in the University of Minnesota, or at least there's a movement forward to put emphasis on research that will benefit the organic community by advancing a number of different programs that will ultimately serve the needs of farmers who are having to do this type of research on their own. So there's a lot to look forward to, and by prioritizing that we get these types of programs and this research in place, I'm anxious to see the benefits that will come from it.
What are some of the areas, kind of exciting areas we're seeing right now, like some of the stuff you see on the horizon where there could be a real market for it, a real demand for? Is there a certain kind of seed out there that you think is going to be there's going to be a big demand for?
Well, my specialty is with soybeans because we actually have a private soybean line ourselves. The university has been involved in releasing soybeans for years, and then as Roundup Ready from private companies entered the market and kind of took over the market, there was a lack of enthusiasm for conventional soybeans, and consequently that's where we would originate for the organic soybeans, because obviously GMOs are not accepted in many places in the world. So the emphasis that I see, that I've seen, is there weren't enough products out there, and the release mechanism was scattered so that people couldn't find the varieties that they needed, and we still have a shortage of varieties. So this is an ongoing need, and this is just one aspect.
Well, it seems in that area of seed research, publicly funded research is so key. From what I've heard, is when when the big seed companies lock up some of that intellectual information, the intellectual property rights, so to speak, it's very hard for them to share that information. It's very hard to get research done on stuff that maybe is going to benefit sustainable or organic agriculture. It seems what I've been hearing anyway.
Well, I think you're right, and of course, I think everyone is always trying to come up with more money. It seems like there's never enough money, and so prioritizing becomes a problem in every avenue there. But it's a land-grant university, and we need to do what's right for the citizens of Minnesota and consequently, the world. So, if there's a demand for this product and we can serve that need here, hopefully we can get this research off the ground and advance those programs.
Yeah, Loda, if you could just give me a little background on your farm and where you market and where you're at, and that type of thing, just a little bit.
My husband Martin and I and our son Kevin have an organic dairy farm near Gibbon, Minnesota, and we certified the farm in 1990 and then certified the dairy herd in 94 and have been marketing our milk with Organic Valley family of farms.
One thing that you just mentioned that caught my interest was you said your son Kevin, and I think he's just recently rejoined the farm. He had graduated from high school and then went away for a few years. That, I think, is something that we say that we want here in Minnesota and in rural Midwestern states is young people coming back to the farm. How much do you think the fact that you guys are organic and are able to get a premium for what you're doing, you feel like you have a good quality of life, how much do you think that helped bring Kevin back to the farm?
Kevin definitely had an interest in farming and likes the dairying. I know for certain were it not for going organic and the fair, stable pay price we get with Organic Valley, we would not have a dairy there for him to come back to. So it's been huge. And Kevin represents the fifth generation of Jouses on that family farm. So it's been a highly significant issue for us.
Do you see what do you see the role of a land-grant university in trying to get young people interested in coming back to the farm? Do you see that as what kind of research should they be doing maybe to help bring that about?
We need all kinds of research. I think, we've kind of run the gamut. When we came on, we had difficulty finding markets for our organic products, and now, as the last few years, you can't find enough organic products to keep up with the demand. So there has to be constant research, not only to back the consumer's perception of organics and the benefits of that, but just continual constant research to help farmers keep up with, the latest and just getting a deeper base there for their farming skills.
But I don't think people are aware of sometimes of how big of a entity, economic entity, frankly, that organics has become. In Minnesota is one of the major states. I know you're very involved with Organic Valley and you go around and give presentations, but it's really become a big presence.
It's essentially organics is only 1% to 2% of the overall food industry, but it's consistently been the fastest growing segment of the food industry, where you're looking at over 20% growth each year. So and we need the research to keep up with that.
Do you think more of your neighbors would do the conversion if they had some research support, some support through extension, that type of thing?
Definitely, we've seen that. We have a lot of conservation projects on the farm, and it takes someone to get it started, and the neighbors will pay attention and watch, and when it's working and it's successful and they like what they see, and then if there is some solid backing from the people that they trust at the university and through extension, they will make the move, and some financial incentives help there, but it definitely is possible and definitely relies on that input from those people at the U.
I think that backing you mentioned is key. I saw a really interesting research done by Purdue University on no-till, adoption of no-till. And what they found was they did all these great field days and got people to adopt it and all that. But then it often, when something major came out, maybe a real wet spring or something, the farmers would go back to their old tillage systems because they didn't have that backing a couple years down the road. And I think that's a really key point. Yeah, so Dave, maybe just give me a little background first.
Our family is a fourth-generation farm at New Prague, Minnesota. We milk 150 cows, and our family also operates a on-the-farm creamery where we bottle milk and cream and make ice cream and sell it all over the upper Midwest.
Whether you like it or not, your family's kind of considered a pioneer in not only grazing but also this on-farm processing of milk. I mean, how you guys have really had to do it the hard way, I guess, it seems like. What kind of research or what kind of help through the university and extension would have made it easier for you, but also would make it maybe easier for the next generation of farmers who were looking at this type of thing?
Yeah, when we first converted to a grazing system back in the early 90s, there really was no research by any university that I'm aware of. We picked up a lot of the information from the Rodale Institute, and we also formed a few of us grazers in the South Metro area formed a grazing network where we met every month on farms and exchanged ideas, and there really were no experts involved in this, no extension people. The neat thing about this is that they, after about 12 or 13 years, we're still meeting every month, and the thing goes on. But the university could play a big part in doing research on any kind of organic farming or sustainability, processing. Also, the processing when we built our creamery and the planning of this whole process, there really was not much help from the university. So we ended up researching on the internet for the kind of a system that would process milk from our herd into different products. And we ended up going with a company from Israel that was manufacturing equipment on a small scale, and also provided us with recipes and all the backing that we needed to start what we're doing, processing milk.
I talked to Loretta a little bit about the kind of the national and regional impact organics is having economically in the food industry and how fast it's growing. But you guys have really been an example of showing how a local sustainable farm that's processing on the farm, how much of a local impact it can have in the community.
It has a pretty good impact right in our immediate area. Actually, our farm before we built the creamery, I guess I was doing most of the work. Maybe had one or two part-time employees, and now with the creamery and our son's involved, I guess we have an employment of about 15 people. Most of those are full-time, including our sons and daughter-in-law. And everyone is local. The furthest anyone drives to our creamery is about 10 miles. So I think we have a pretty good local impact.
For more on the Land Stewardship Project's research priorities for organic and sustainable agriculture, see www.landstewardshipproject.org and click on Programs. On our state policy page, you will see a link under the Press Releases section for LSP's proposal for an ongoing organic program at the University of Minnesota. For information on how you can help make an ongoing organic program a reality at the university, contact LSP's Bobby King at bking@landstewardshipproject.org. That's bking@landstewardshipproject.org. Or you can call him at 612-722-6377. Send your comments and suggestions about this podcast to me, Brian DeVore, at bdevore@landstewardshipproject.org. You can also call me at 612-729-6294. A special thank you goes out to Laura Borgendale, a Western Minnesota musician who provided Ear to the Ground's theme music. And a very special thank you to all of Land Stewardship Project's members who make initiatives such as this podcast possible. If you're not a member and you'd like to support us, go to landstewardshipproject.org to learn how to join LSP. Thanks for listening.